Be sure to head on over to Fox Local to watch our Falcons Training Camp kickoff special. It starts in just a few moments at 11. DJ Shockley, our Fox 5 sports team, and Good Day's Buck Lanford will bring you more exclusive interviews and expert analysis as the season prepares to get underway. Again, that's coming up next on Fox Local. Meantime, thank you so much for joining us for Good Day Atlanta.
Stay connected to Fox 5 around the clock. Of course, we're live streaming throughout the day on our website, fox5atlanta.com. We're on Fox Local and on the Fox 5 Radio 1 network at 107.9 HD2 FM.
And we're all over social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And I really do hope you'll stick around and join me for Fox 5 News at noon that starts in 1 hour, followed by Portia at 1.
Here with Kelly Price. Kelly, we are here to talk all things Falcons Training Camp, and I'm so excited to do it with you.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. I'm excited that training camp is back. Football is finally back. There's so much excitement around this Falcons team, too.
I just cannot believe that it is already to the point we are thinking football again.
Oh, I know, right?
But I know so many of you are ready. And with this year, I mean, we have the return of the fans to training camp, which is exciting. I'm ready. Let's get into it.
I don't know if I'm ready because it's about to be,
crazy
gangbusters in our department.
Understandable.
It's nice to have an off season, but there's always something going on in Atlanta, and football season really brings that routine for us of, here are the Falcons, here's the Georgia Bulldogs, here's the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, here are all the things that we're familiar with and that kind of comfortability that football season can bring. But the excitement around this team is awesome going into a new year for the Falcons. Obviously, the last couple of years weren't exactly what they or their fans wanted, so it's this time of year, no one has any losses. Everyone is 0-0. The record is completely a clean slate.
Yes.
And that excitement is very palpable for the Falcons.
So I want to check out, we have some video, don't we, to maybe check out of some fans there at training camp this year. And I know that with this, there was the hiatus last year. And so I think so many fans are excited for what you were discussing, which is this clean slate. This is a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. This is so exciting for me to see. Obviously, I am here and not there today. So, it's an element of training camp that was missed last year. There was construction at the Flowery Branch facility. They've been expanding their locker room, their weight room facility. They're in Flowery Branch for the Falcons. They have an incredible facility. But because of that construction, there was nowhere for fans to go or park. So logistically, they weren't able to have fans out there last year. And you see the excitement there. I mean, fans start cheering and saying guys' names, and Michael Penix makes one pass and everyone loses their mind.
Yeah.
So that element was definitely missed last year. I'm sure we're going to hear from some players and Raheem Morris talk about how exciting it is to have those fans back. There was a line way down the road from what I saw on social media. All the tickets, which are free, you have to register for them, but they're free. All the tickets have been sold out. So you can just tell that there's excitement around this team with the fan base as well. And I think if we could go to maybe some sound from Bijan Robinson, the running back, who we are actually seeing right there in that video. He talked about the expectations around this team, and not just for fans and what their expectations are, but what they hold for themselves.
Everybody's like, we're the best team now, but for us, it's like, we got to put it to action. Like we got to actually do it. All the talk is like no more talk. Like talk doesn't help anything. So for us, like if we just actually just put our heads down and just work hard, we have the pieces that we need for a great successful team. But now it's time to come together and so we can do it that far down the line.
This be the first time the Falcons make the playoffs since 2017. That is a stat that is incredible when you think about the Jets are the only team that have not been in the playoffs longer. The Falcons fans out there, they feel that, but the Falcons themselves feel it as well.
So I'm curious. I know we have Buck and DJ out there asking the same questions that we're asking, and they're in Flowery Branch. And, we're looking at this team that's really feeling the pressure and these great expectations. DJ Buck, how's it going out there?
Ladies, I think it's going pretty well out here. And we first of all, let's not bury the lead, because the lead is it does not feel like mid-July out here in the first day of training camp. It is downright, dare I say, comfortable out here. And that's not something we're used to.
That's the first thing I was thinking about, too. Practice just ended behind us, but we have this cool breeze that's coming in right now. That
see it blowing through DJ's hair? Can you see that? Yeah.
It feels so good right here. But it feels great out here. It's been a great day so far. You guys mentioned the fans. They're lined up. The entire hill was packed full of people. They had a great practice, but it's been a fun first day for sure.
Well, and one of the things that stood out to me as we sat here is there were roars of the crowd that sounded like a game almost.
Sure, yeah.
When a big play would happen. You'd hear the giant roar, and we'd like, oh, what did we miss? What's going on over there? And I know as we talked about, DJ, of course the fans love that.
Oh, absolutely.
But first day of training camp, the players are feeding off that as well.
Absolutely. It's nothing like having the fans out here. It gives you a little extra. People say it all the time, juice. Yes, the juice is out here and it's alive because you have the opportunity to go in front of your fans. They didn't get a chance to see them last year. But this is a chance for everybody to see this new look team. You guys mentioned there are a lot of new faces on this team, a lot of people that people want to see, and the optimism is so high with this team, and they're so excited to see it.
And then we talked about with Falcons president Greg Beatles about Back Together Weekend, which is kind of a tribute to the fans. That's a league-wide initiative. So all training camps around the league are going to be doing this on Saturday. The NFL Network's going to have look-ins at all of the training camps. Now, I will tell you this, if you're coming out on Saturday, I talked to Joanne earlier, it is not going to feel like it feels out here today.
No.
So that's for fans, for players, for everyone involved.
But, hey, there's a lot of activities, they say, fans for fans. I mean, you got some face painting going on. I don't know if face painting is going to stay because it's going to be so hot. It may fall on your face. But, hey, it's going to be a fun time for sure. And today has been a really good, I should say, day one.
And you guys mentioned that it's been the playoff drought with this team. But one thing that has not been a drought is the fan experience. Whether it's out here or whether it's at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, this team has figured out a way to keep the fans entertained and keep the fans happy, even when the product on the field, it sometimes has fallen short of their expectations.
And I've heard people talk about that all the time. There's something going on between every break. There's something going on between every half. There's something always going on inside Mercedes-Benz, and that's something they strive to continue to keep going. And I think that's why people love going to the game, because you get that experience, and now it's time to put that and couple that with what you get on the field, which is a good product.
And you know what I noticed when I first walked out here this morning? There's two DJs. Two DJs out here today.
Live.
I got this one sitting beside me, and I got one pumping tunes on the field out there behind me.
Too.
So you got double DJs for the first day of training camp. That's a big deal.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know, the music choice, I'm all for.
Well, I'm sure you called it in, right?
Absolutely. I think we both next week are going to ask for our favorite songs.
Yeah. We'll be out here a few more days, so we'll get some opportunities to do that. So, yeah, a lot of opportunities for the fans this year that due to construction they weren't able to take advantage of last year. So I think that you're going to see a huge turnout every day. Make sure you get tickets. It doesn't cost anything, but you got to make sure you get your tickets so you can get in.
And the ladies talked about it. First 3 days are sold out. The fans got their tickets. They registered. And we saw today tons of kids, family members, everybody, people taking off work, obviously, to come out here, which is a great thing because you don't know when next time you're going to be able to see these Falcons and see them in this capacity. So it's fun to get these fans back out here and everybody having a good time in the sun.
I got to call out my favorite new Falcon.
Who's that?
His name is number 43.
Right.
I bet nobody knows who he is just yet. He was an undrafted free agent. In fact, I'm going to look up his name one more time to make sure I don't mess it up. Where's my roster?
You got to tell them why.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you exactly why. So here it is right here. 43. His name's Malik Verdon or Verdon. I'm not sure exactly. Verdon. He's my new favorite Falcon. I'm pulling for him to make the team because I was standing up here between our live shots this morning. And I don't know, between the food that someone ate, the pepper, whatever, the dust, the pollen, I had a couple of sneezes. And, I don't sneeze like a dainty woman. I just let it fly, right? So he's down on the field rehabbing an injury.
Yeah.
He turns around and he goes, "Bless you," from the field. So I was like, all right, Malik's my man.
New bestie.
I'm pulling for Malik to make this team. Undrafted free agent out of Iowa State, inside linebacker. Come on, Malik.
You love that. Our very own Dave Archer is from Iowa State, played there, so I'm sure he's a big fan of Malik as well. So we had a couple guys off to the side, saw a couple of big plays today, ladies. It's been fun watching this offense. And I'm going to tell you, even though it's first day is like the minimal stuff that they put in on the offense. But there was some deep throws. There was some stuff that happened. This offense is going to be fun to watch.
Well, and you got a new quarterback, although we saw him start 3 times last year. But we were talking about, as a former quarterback, that's some pretty good weapons for a guy that's kind of working his way into a new system. You got to feel comfortable having weapons like this guy has.
Drake, Mooney, Ray, Bijan. I mean, you got Kyle. I mean, you have a lot of guys.
And a solid line.
So it should be good.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So, hey, we heard from Coach Raheem Morris. We're going to catch up with him a little bit later. He had some interesting and fun things to say. You know, he's a Netflix star now. He's more than just a football coach.
Yeah.
I can't wait to learn more because I feel like when I'm looking at this, the expectations are super high. And I'm sure you're feeling that pressure when you see the fans and the excitement. It's excitement, but it's also, I hope we get it this year.
Yeah, well, and for a guy you guys are talking about, Raheem Morris, it is, we got to have it this year, right? And especially for GM Terry Fontenot, another year for him at the helm. These are some kind of big make or break years for those guys. I think you guys talked to Raheem Morris as well, if we want to maybe listen to that.
We talk about day one excitement. You talk about the fans being back. First 3 days are sold out. You talk about the excitement, the optimism. How do you take that when you feel like, you know what, the fans are excited to come see this squad that we put together?
You know, I think our fan base is awesome. I think our fan base has a lot of energy. I think our fan base has a lot of excitement, and they have some encouraging thoughts that they can get ready to get done. And for those guys that come out the Flowery Branch, you know, obviously we were closed last year, so to have them back in our building, at our place, to give our fans and our players the energy that we need in practice is certainly needed and certainly wanted and certainly appreciated.
I can tell you this, go to my Instagram account. I shot video of that line, and I put it on there. The people waiting to get in this morning. It was as long as I've ever seen. So.
I got in pretty early, so I didn't see the line, but I noticed that the extra energy in the office when I got in to do my workout. You could feel all the people, all the guys getting everything ready. It takes some production to get this thing done, so I was pretty excited to see those guys.
32 teams. Optimism abounds, right? This is day one or early for everyone in training camp. Everyone is super optimistic about the season ahead, and you guys are no exception. Tell me, are you more optimistic than last year? Is this team better than last year? Specifically, what are you more excited about perhaps than last year about this year's team?
You know, obviously, Buck, you always want to say you're better than what you did before, right? The whole key to this business is getting better every single day. The whole key to the business is getting better every single year, and we want to be better year to year as we go. And I got a lot of optimism about my guys. I got a lot of optimism about the people that's going to go out there and get the things done for us, our coaching staff. You know, it's just an exciting time, you know, to be an Atlanta Falcon. And if you don't feel that when you go into our field, you go into our building, you're just crazy.
Certainly one of the talking points is going to be quarterback Michael Penix Jr. You saw him play starting 3 games last year. What did you see last year that made you think that he could be the guy, and what have you seen throughout the offseason as he's progressed to give you confidence in him being QB1?
You know, it started out with the maturity. You know, the maturity that he displayed throughout the process, the maturity displayed when he was waiting, when he was sitting, when he was watching, the maturity displayed when he got a chance to get in the game, to be able to go out there and execute our game plans, the maturity show in the games, wins, lose, or draw. I felt like his answers, his sideline poise, you know, all of those things gave us a great confidence going into this year. And then having the offseason with him this year has been absolutely outstanding. Having him be the guy, having him be with his receivers, having him be able to throw with his guys on his own, at his own time, at his own rate, at his own pace, throwing to the guys that play for us, the Drake Londons, the Bijan Robinson, the Cal Pitts, on a consistent basis has been something that's been great for him. So, like, I really look forward to this young man having a chance to go play in some games, having a chance to go out there and really get a chance to go show his ability with guys he's actually practiced with.
You got a new voice on that side of on defense side of the ball in Jeff Ulbrich. You know Brick really well. You go out and draft 4 guys on the defense side of the ball. Everybody's excited about Jalen Walker and Pierce and obviously Bowman and Watts. What do you want to see from those guys as they get going in their career and they get started? And do you think they can have a huge impact on your defense in year one?
Shock, they're really in the acclimation period as well, but they're in the acclimation period of getting ready to play. You know, we got high expectations for those guys. We want to get those guys out there early and often. They'll determine how much, you know, based on their play, but I really got a really good feeling about these guys. I really love where they're at when they came back. Obviously, we know the Bulldog and Georgia Walker, and Jalen Walker.
There you go. Yeah,
them coming back, being ready to go and being ready to deal and being the ultimate leader that he is. Having James Pierce come in and be a part of our program to provide some of that much-needed rush that we were looking for, that we wanted. And then, obviously, with Jeff Ulbrich, you know, not I know him, we know him. You know, our organization knows him, our fan base knows him, our team knows him. He's been to get away and get better. He's been to go away and do some really good things, what he did up there in New York, and I'm excited to have him back. I'm excited to have our draft picks ready to go. You know, Watts, Bowman, all of our guys on the defensive side of the ball to be ready to help and contribute to the guys that we already have. The Jesse Bates, you know, the AJ Terrells, the Caden Ellis. I mean, we got a pretty outstanding group that can go out there and get things done for us.
Hearing from Raheem Morris about what he's looking ahead to, it really kind of sets the stage of like the pressure he's feeling and what we're looking ahead to as far as this season. I'm curious for Buck and DJ, who are still out in Flowery Branch, what are some of the biggest takeaways or impacts you felt from this day one?
I guess the biggest thing is just the excitement. We've talked about what's going on the field. We've talked about Raheem Morris and his excitement. We've seen the fans' excitement. And it's tough to say, okay, what happened in day one in practice because it's really kind of like elementary for what they do at day one. But you just hear the excitement in Raheem's voice. You hear the excitement from the fans. We saw Buck's Instagram video. There's a huge optimism about what's going on here in Atlanta. And a lot of people feel good about where this team can be.
Yeah.
And then the way they drafted, the things they did in the free agency.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hope about where this team can go as they get started in day one. And I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Well, and don't let him fool you. This team has had a reputation, deserved or not deserved, for a long time among the University of Georgia faithful of not taking Georgia players when they are available. Well, they did that this year.
Yeah.
And they got a big one, literally and figuratively, a big pick. And I think that the Bulldog Nation appreciates that. I know this guy appreciates that. But it's also he was an obvious choice to fill a need as well.
And ladies, one other thing that Buck just talked about is when he got a dog, we actually asked Raw about it. And he said basically, everywhere I go, people say, thank you for taking a bulldog. We're so glad you took one. And, you don't hear that often, especially when, you draft certain guys. But it's been a long time coming, especially drafting a bulldog, especially in this state. It means a lot. And I'm sure it does in any other state where a kid comes from. But even here where the Bulldogs have had so much success, players have gone on. We saw the Eagles and all this success. So it's good to have one come here when you got the opportunity to do so.
And one other thing that Coach Morris said to us that kind of stood out to me was, it is kind of piggybacking on what DJ said, that it is day one. I was like, what's your speech? What are you going to say to these guys to start this thing off? And he's like, no, it's a long way to go. It's not some rah-rah day-to-day. I'm tempering that enthusiasm. We're here to get work done, to get through this day one, to do what we need to get done. This is not some rah-rah, hey, let's go get them, go fight, win team. Although when you got a stand full of fans or a hill full of fans yelling and screaming, it feels a little bit like that too.
Yeah, and you guys talk about Jalen Walker being a pick that almost made too much sense. It was almost surprising that they did it because it did. It really fell in their laps. But I'm curious for both of you guys, or maybe just DJ, who is the under the radar or kind of like low key guy that you're going to be watching to develop throughout camp? Not these first round picks that obviously everyone is going to be having their eyes on. Michael Penix Jr., obviously everyone's going to be watching him. But who's someone else that maybe is a little under the radar that you guys are going to be watching?
You know what? I think one guy who is kind of under the radar for me is a guy like Casey Washington, a guy who was part of that draft class last year. And we talked about all the other weapons that are on offense, but we saw last year when a couple guys go down. Maybe Mooney went down in a game or two. Maybe Drake goes down for a couple series, and you need a guy to step in. We saw Cordell Hodge do that last year, but I'm sure they would love a guy like Casey Washington to step up and be that kind of guy, especially a guy who they went after last year. So this preseason, let's see what Casey Washington does and see if he can have an impact on his team as the season goes on.
I got two. One I've already mentioned, Malik Verdone, the undrafted free agent out of Iowa State. I'm keeping my eye on him. Thank you. He's a good man. I hope he can make this team. So it looks like he might be rehabbing injury. It might hurt his chances a little bit. This one's a little outside the box.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins.
Ooh.
Under the radar guy, right? We've already heard some things about injuries around the league.
Spicy, ladies.
So what what happens there?
We love a
Kirk
hot take
Cousins
at 11-17.
Is he just going to be the best backup quarterback in the league all season long? I don't know. We'll see. But certainly, as the season progresses, injuries happen. Injuries already happen. So, I think he's a guy to keep an eye on how that plays out.
Stir it up, Buck. I like it.
Yeah, I was about to say underrated player and saying
11:15
Kirk Cousins.
I love that.
I love it. Guys, this has been a treat. We need to get to a break. Of course, we're going to come back to you and talk all things Falcons and training camp, the season ahead. So don't go anywhere, and we'll come back to you in a little bit. Kelly, I know coming up on the other side of this break, we're going to be discussing defense for the Falcons. And you guys, even if you're not a Falcons fan and you're just kind of tuning in and riding along with us, thanks so much for being here. If you're in the YouTube chat, drop some comments for us. We'll call you out. But for now, let's take a break, and we'll see you back here after this. Well, welcome back, you guys. I'm Ariel Onstad here with Kelly Price. We are talking all things Falcons training camp. So thank you so much for streaming along with us. We're taking a look ahead at the season. A lot of hard work goes into this. I think there's a lot of excitement on day one, but we got to carry this energy throughout the season, Kelly.
Yes, the vibes are high, but let's keep them high, right?
And talking about high vibes, so we got some really great energy in our YouTube chat for those of you streaming along with us. I know Thomas T-Bone asked us if we're going to show down on the field because he wants to see the practice.
Well, Thomas, I would love to show that to you, except that practice is already over. So we cannot show that to you live. We'll have some video. I know we showed a little bit of video earlier as well of practice, but practice is actually done for the day. Earlier in the season, or in training camp rather, they kind of have shorter practices as they get acclimated, right? I know they were talking about how it's not that hot, but normally it's very hot. So they kind of got to get acclimated back into kind of everything. They're not practicing with pads right now, so the intensity is not what it will be even in just a week from now.
And Thomas is also asking about, he says on the Falcons channel, it shows them getting ready for the press conference. And you guys, we're going to be talking about that here a little bit later along in our stream before noon. We're here with you guys until noon today, and so we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on in that news conference and some things to watch. But I think one of the big things that we're all watching when we think about the Falcons team, Kelly, the defense and what that is going to mean moving forward for the season ahead.
Yeah, it's a unit that was very up and down in 2024, right? Like they started off with a lot of momentum, and then they kind of hit a little bit of a lull, and then, you know, the end of the season for the entire team kind of went back down. But they ended up firing their defensive coordinator, Jimmy Lake, last year. They bring in Jeff Ulbrich, who is now the new defensive coordinator. He was here a number of years ago with Raheem Morris, back when Raheem Morris was here the first time. So a lot of kind of full circle moments for these guys. But if you guys follow Jeff Ulbrich, he was with the Jets last year, actually, as their interim head coach. And so he brings a lot of different experience. But bringing a new defensive coordinator in, obviously a new scheme, that's going to mean a lot of different things for the guys that are on this roster. But they've also brought in a ton of new guys on that side of the ball. You know, some edge rushers that I know we're going to talk about as well. People are really excited about those 2 first-round picks who are going to really, hopefully, for Falcons fans, get after the quarterback, is something they haven't been very good at consistently doing for a number of years now. But we got to hear from Caden Ellis, who's one of the mainstays on this defense, one of the leaders on this defense, about some of his camp essentials, things he's got to kind of bring to camp to make it feel like home, but also working with this new defensive coordinator.
I'm excited about a bunch of things, though. I mean, I'm excited about the team we have. I'm excited about the guys I get to go spend a lot of time with all of a sudden. I'm going to miss my family, but, you know, it's pretty cool that when I do got to step away from them, I get to come be with this group right here. I get to be with Ra and Terry, kind of top down. I love my linebacker coach, Rude. I love my locker mates, Charlie and Bajan, and darn it, I love that defense. I love playing Jesse and David and Troy, Divine now, JD. I'm just really excited to be with these guys.
What do you bring from home to kind of make training camp feel less work?
Bring the kids as much as possible and play with them on the field afterwards. And besides that, I'm not sure much can replicate home. So, just try to get as much time with them as I can.
Yes. How fast can you all bring the new defense together with a lot of new variables on the field?
I believe in what Brick's doing. I think I think we made a lot of really great strides throughout OTAs. I love the detail that he's approached every single meeting with, and I'm excited to have our first one today so that we can keep growing on that. But I'm excited for how he's put it together.
Okay, the Saints drafted you, was it as an edge rusher? Was that what you perceived the role to be, or what they told you the role? No.
I got there, and from off the jump was Mike linebacker inside. But then where I first got to play was more edge. So. And
now you sort of moved back into the middle. Is there one that you are more comfortable with, or that you?
I think if I had my choice, I'd play inside linebacker on first and second down because you get a chance at every ball, and I would play edge on third down. So it's kind of, I think both have their perks, both have different aspects of the game that you watch certain guys play. You see the way they impact the game as a stacked linebacker, and you get to see other guys impact the game as an edge or a rusher. And I think just that's the important part of football to me. Defense. You don't get the chalk glass. The offense does. They get to choose the play. And so is when you go up against, you know, certain plays, you got to figure out how do you make your plays, how do you make your splash plays, and whether I'm at stack or edge, pass rushing inside, whatever it is, there's plenty of opportunities, and so I just love it all.
It's really amazing to hear how he wants to leave an impact with this team, and to hear him kind of dissect all the positions and how he thinks his skill set is going to leave a mark.
Yeah.
And also, of course, to hear how he's making it at home for himself. You know, he's bringing the comforts of home to training camp.
He's a big family guy. He's also one of, I forget how many siblings he has. He has like 6 or 7 siblings. So he has a huge family, and then he has kids as well.
I love it. I totally get that kind vibe from him, so I love that.
Yeah, big family guy, Caden Ellis is. He also led the team in tackles last year. He had 5 sacks. This is a guy that also kind of got after the quarterback in a bunch of different positions, even just as that linebacker who's kind of all over the field. But another edge rusher linebacker type, a guy who's played inside and on the edge, Jalen Walker, obviously. Georgia fans, we talked about him going to Georgia. Georgia fans, you're familiar with this guy, but the 15th overall pick is someone that a lot of people are excited to see in training camp and in games this upcoming season, and we just heard from him after practice.
The guys from Georgia talk about how playing at Georgia and the practices especially made them ready for this. What specifically from there to this, do you see any similarities, differences that made you ready for this?
Right, all the regiments we have at Georgia, as in practice and training and workouts, things like that, we do it at a high pace and high level. And of course, you know, as you said, a lot of guys do say that, and I believe that Georgia prepares all their players and all their guys who come out of there to be most successful on this next level.
Does this feel a little bit different compared to OTAs? Like now it's training camp and it's go time for you?
I feel like I had the same mindset of going. Like I've always full speed 100% myself. So, but there is a gear shift in between the team and the head space between everyone. But I feel like myself is always, I've always had my foot on the pedal. So.
Do you feel like you have a little bit of advantage compared to some of the other rookies? You know the heat that you're going to experience and the humidity some of the other guys don't know they're going to experience?
Yeah, they'll embrace it soon. I've embraced it for the past couple of years. It does get hot in Georgia, so they'll experience it pretty soon. But I feel like I got the upper hand on that.
Yeah, he certainly knows about this Georgia heat. He's been practicing in it for a number of years now.
It just, you know, when you have a handle on that, it makes all the difference. It is quite warm, and I'm glad that Buck and DJ are being spared the worst of it today.
Well, they're in the shade too, so let's not forget that they're in the shade, whereas as we just saw Justin Felder down there on the field, our photographer Blaine Cummett, they are fully in the sun. So Buck and DJ got their nice little setup in the shade. But hey, I will say, as someone who's gone to a ton of training camp practices at this point in Flowery Branch, your mini handheld fan is the biggest key.
The GOAT in Atlanta and Georgia in general. You guys, it is time to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking, Kelly, about all things offense now. So we tackled the defense. Now it's time to tackle the offense. So we're going to do that on the other side of this. We'll see you guys back here. Welcome back. I'm Ariel Onstad here with Kelly Price. And you guys, I think one of the big talking points about the Falcons this season, we have to talk quarterbacks and offense. And I think when we watched the draft this year, there were a lot of questions around, a quarterback like Michael Penix. We already have Kirk Cousins. What does this mean?
Yes.
We know that the quarterbacks were drawing a lot of attention in the offseason. Kelly.
That they were.
Your take.
Or at least one of them was.
Yes.
The national conversation, I feel like, focused so much on number 18, as you're seeing right here, Kirk Cousins. So much of the national conversation and focus was on him, but Michael Penix Jr. is really this team's focus, if we're being honest, going forward as QB1 of this team. He had 116 snaps last year, obviously coming in 3 starts at the end of the season as a rookie, 775 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 58-ish% completion percentage. So, not anything that's going to jump off the page at you, but beyond the stat sheet, we saw his poise kind of in clutch moments. He worked with receivers last year that he'd never even really thrown to in practice. So I think he impressed a lot of people. He has certainly Falcons fans and the Falcons staff very excited about what he could do with a full year under his belt. The Kirk Cousins conversation, I think, is going to continue to be a conversation, especially nationally, because it's something that is kind of a dramatic situation. A lot of people have gravitated towards it, especially since he's come out on his Netflix quarterback series, kind of talking a little bit more about it or giving a little more of an in-depth look at it. But I think this team's focus really is number 9. And by the way, I think that's also Kirk Cousins' focus. He wants to be the best quarterback as a backup quarterback that he can be. He wants to be the best mentor that he can be for Michael Penix. And I think last year was really great for Penix to kind of, we see so many rookie quarterbacks nowadays just get thrown into the fire, maybe on not a great team because they were drafted really high and they're not set up for success. Whereas Penix, I feel like he might be set up a little bit more for success. He learned from a guy who is a fantastic veteran in this league. He was able to kind of go through those mental reps before he got through the physical reps, which you just don't see anymore. And hopefully that helps him when he hits the field this year.
I couldn't agree more. And, I just feel Michael Penix has a bit of a presence about him. There's a maturity 100%. There. And for so many of these young players that come in, it can be easy to not have that kind of gravitas, right? Or that kind of maturity. So that's, at least for me, who follows sports somewhat loosely, right?
Yeah.
It's refreshing to see that. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
He's got an aura about him.
Good aura. So, Kelly, I know that we're also looking at some other players as well, and I know Chris Lindstrom is another one that we have been paying attention to.
Right. He's a guy that's been on the team for a number of years now. He's been a Pro Bowler a number of years. This is the right guard who actually will now be on the blind side of Michael Penix because he's a left-handed quarterback versus Kirk Cousins was a right-handed quarterback. So interesting dynamic there at play as well. We'll talk a little bit more about the offensive line a little bit later, but Chris Lindstrom, a fantastic leader on this team. He's always been so great to us in the media. I'm a huge fan of him as a person, as a player. He talked a little bit about expectations for this team. Obviously, we've talked a lot about that, but also his camp essentials for training camp.
It's exciting. I think it's one of the best times of the year, and you put all this work in, and every year it feels like a blur that the off season flew by, and then we're here already. But I think it's the time of everybody has optimism and kind of ready to roll. We know the expectation is to make it in the playoffs and to compete, and it's something that I want to be a part of. I know the team wants to be a part of, and I think just we're going to play fast, especially up front, fast, physical, and then try and be as assignment sound and eliminate self-mistakes as can be. But I think we all know there's a responsibility to the fan base in the city to perform.
Did the off-season program give you a lot of excitement and things to work on for this part?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a ton of excitement in terms of watching Mike operate, watching our skill guys make plays, and then our coordination as an O-line. I think that continuity that we have on offense is pretty special. And so to iron the things out we need to do to be the best offense we can be is really what we got to focus on right now.
Chris, it is the first day of camp that you've done quite a few times now, but what does it feel like every time you come back for the first day of camp?
I think I think one is just pure excitement, definitely nerves too, that how hard it's about to be and how long it's going to be. And I think not last night, but the night before, I was like, all right, well, this is the first time I don't have to, or the last time I don't have to set an alarm for the next 7 months. So There's excitement, but then there's also nerves of, being able to perform and knowing how important and stressful the season is. Essentials for camp, number one is just I bring an Xbox just to chill out at home there in the dorms, and then your own pillow is like such a big one. Just to keep that the same. And I'd say those are the biggest things, and then making sure I have a charger so my headphones and everything are kind of good, and like throwing my headphones on and being in my own world half the day.
I mean, a charger for the headphones. Amen.
Very key, obviously.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that we're down, on the field, and our Justin Felder and Blaine, they're getting some content from the guys who are wrapping up. It's been interesting to see who they've been getting so far, and we've been kind of feeding it back in for you guys streaming along with us, and we're obviously monitoring and managing this YouTube chat for those of you streaming along with us. So if you have questions, feel free to drop it for us. But Drake London, Kelly.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, so one of the faces of this franchise, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's familiar with him, not just in
Very
Atlanta,
much
but
so.
across the league. He and Darnell Mooney were actually one of the top wide receiver tandems kind of in the whole NFL statistically last year. So that's another guy who could really have an even more of a breakout year with Michael Penix at quarterback kind of chucking it around. But there's a lot of depth at wide receiver. We talked about Casey Washington a little bit earlier with DJ. There's some really interesting depth there behind Drake London, but we did have a chance to hear from wide receiver 1, and we'll take a listen to that now.
It was cool, smooth first day out there with the guys. Glad to move around and be on this side of things now.
Is it you kind of like living that dream? Like, what are you hoping to gain through this training camp so that you'll be ready for the start of the season?
Whatever it puts me through, whatever I gotta excel through. So I just really going with get the flow and just the growing pains and whatever comes out of that.
You feel like you're catching up to like the speed of the NFL because it's a little bit faster than college, or still trying to catch up?
I wouldn't say I'm trying to catch up. Like I learned the game well, but I know there's some things that's going on out there that I'm not even hip to yet. So I still got some learning to do.
That was actually James Pierce Jr. He is a rookie edge rusher. That is not Drake London, as you guys probably know.
But it was cool because in hearing him talk a little bit about what he's looking ahead to for training camp, Kelly, while we were listening to this soundbite, Kelly was kind of telling me some things about what we're looking forward to with him as far as the Falcons season this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's a guy that a lot of people are going to be watching. We also talked about Jalen Walker. Those two guys have been really talked about in the same sentence because they were both the first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
They're both edge rushers. They really doubled down on that need this year in the draft. It's the first time Terry Fontenot has drafted a non-offensive player in the first round. So they really doubled down on a need for them. And James Pierce Jr., a lot of people hope that he and Jalen Walker and kind of everything they've got going on with edge rusher going into this year can do more, getting after the quarterback.
And, I can't wait when we do go back to Buck and DJ in the field at Flowery Branch. When we come back to them, I'm going to pick their brain a little bit more about draft night if we have time, because I just feel what you were bringing up and kind of touches on so much of what Falcons fans were feeling in terms of you watch these draft nights and you're nervous. You're like, what's the team going to do? What's the strategy? And I feel like this was a year where so many people had so many questions.
Yes.
There was a lot of controversy there, but it kind of stirs up attention and gets people talking about the team, which for me personally, I feel is a good thing.
Yes.
And it makes people take a closer look. So I'm going to pick their brains when we come back because we've been talking about it. And it's interesting to see.
And that's why GMs take their entire allotment of that first round pick time, right? You see the little ticker counting down the time before the pick is
money.
in.
Take it.
They want their name on TV as long as possible for whoever on ESPN or whatever network to talk about the Falcons for that entire time and how great they are and what they might do with this pick. But yeah, I think we're actually going to be talking to a former number 4 overall pick in Kyle Pitts in a bit. We're waiting for him to come out after practice. That's who DJ and Buck are going to hopefully talk to. I don't want to promise it quite yet.
You know how it goes, you guys. We say we're going to get somebody, and the universe has other plans, but we're going to manifest it. In the meantime, before we go to break real quick, I do want to go through our YouTube chat. Thomas T-Bone says, thank you for covering the Falcons.
Thomas is like #1 Falcons fan out
here.
Shout
I love it. Adam E. also says, thank you, Fox. You're welcome, Adam E. Thanks for streaming along with us. And then someone's asking about Kirk Cousins. Someone's saying, if you ladies would predict how well do you think we'll do this year? Thomas T-Bone also asking, how well do we think the Falcons will do?
I normally hate putting like a number on the predictions, but I will say, I think Vegas still has the Falcons at 7.5 wins.
Okay.
I say smash the over on that thing because I just don't think there's any way they're going to, in this division that's wide open.
Yeah.
They do have a harder schedule than they have in the last couple of years, but I just think they're going to win at least 8 games. They have to. They have to make the playoffs.
Guys,
by the way,
fingers
they
crossed.
have to. Or there might be a lot of changes in that front office. So I think there's a lot of motivation to make that happen.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to. There has to be that kind of impetus for change, right? People want to win. So we want to win. Guys, it is time to go to a break. When we come back right after this, we're going to be talking all things Falcons. We'll see you here. Welcome back, you guys. We are talking all things Falcons, the season ahead, training camp. It is day one. Kelly Price here, Ariel Onstadt. Kelly, this has been great.
It's been so fun. I love talking about the Falcons.
Yeah.
This is like my bread and butter, so I'm excited to have all of football season back.
Okay, so I know we want to talk about your players to watch. I also know that Buck and DJ, it looks like, are getting set up with, is this Kyle Pitts?
It is Kyle Pitts.
Should we see if they're ready for us, or should we go through some players?
We're ready.
They're ready.
Oh,
okay,
they're ready.
I love
Love
it. All right,
Hey.
let's
All right,
do
let's
it.
hear from the unicorn, you guys.
We were born ready, right, DJ?
No doubt.
Right,
We're ready to
Kyle?
go.
Yeah, absolutely. We were born ready. Here with Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts. Appreciate you joining us, man. And let's just start with this. Day one, cool and comfortable out here, not like you'd expect on a day one in mid-July. Just give us, the fans are out here. Pretty good atmosphere. What was your sense of how it went in day one?
I think it went pretty good. Obviously, never perfect. There's things we can work on, but it was great to see the fans. Great to just have everybody here and get to see us, our relationships, and seeing the guys running around and hearing their whistle blow. So that's always the best thing.
Mm-hmm. Cal, I go ahead and get this out the way. All right, you just saw Kelly Price in there. She's a Gator, so she's really excited to have you here. I'm a dog, of course, so we have our a little friction here now.
He's like, what are you going to say?
But, man, just talk about this offseason, getting back to the Kyle Pitts that everybody know. Because I know you hear the noise, you hear all the outside noise about people talking about where's Kyle, what's going on. But just talk about how you worked so hard to get back to this point. And I said before we came on, you look good today, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's just really just never letting the right hand or left hand do them. So we're always working in the dark and in the silence. I put a lot of work in with my trainers, and the quarterbacks and receivers, and just it's time to show it, and it's just great to see it, great to be back, and just excited to be with the guys.
Well, DJ and I were talking about it when we knew you were going to come up here and talk to us. Year five, right? You're going into year five. All right, so you got Matt Ryan, Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix Jr. That's 5 different quarterbacks, and you haven't even played 5 seasons in the NFL. Right. Tell me about the transition to having it. I mean, when you change quarterbacks, that's a change for everything. What's that been like for you to have to go through so many quarterbacks in such a short amount of time? I
mean, I can't control that, but I think it's great that I've learned a lot from each and every one of those guys, especially for Matt coming into the league. I would say he took me under his wing and really helped me learn the game of ball at this professional level and how to be a professional. So that was great. And then Dez and Marcus and Taylor, all of those guys bring something different to the table. Mike, obviously he's left-handed. He's the first lefty I played with.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah,
that was cool. Just the all offseason seeing his ball spin different. But it's great, learning from those guys and hearing how they think and how they, value tight ends and their side of the line and how they, view them and how they can be a safety blanket for them. So it's just great to be playing with those guys and learned a lot. And, we're here now, and I'm with Mike, so that's right.
All right, you talk about it. You say, pass, that's over with. We gone. We talking about number 9 right now. He the guy that got to get you to rock. It's been documented. You guys have spent a lot of time this offseason trying to build that chemistry. And we saw on day 1, you guys got it, but you're still building on it. What's it been like to build that relationship with Mike this offseason as well as last season and this year coming in? And where do you think this offense can go?
I mean, I think this offense can go far. We're all bought in and we're following behind him. Oh,
trying to get you old yellow jacket right now.
Yeah, just we're all bought in and just following him. He's a leader by example. So just watching him lead, he's not a yeller. Yeah. So just going out and working with him.
He got that cool, laid back nature out there.
Yeah, we can work out with no music. Yeah. That type of guy. So just, growing that relationship with him and knowing that, he's the leader of our team and just following him and knowing, he'll take us places and we're all behind him.
You got his golf game right? Because I know you say you're trying to get in a little golf. I know you into it wide open. But have you got his game right yet or he's still working on it?
He's sneaky good.
Sneaky
good.
He plays golf on the wrong side too, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's going to catch a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's going to catch a lot of people.
I mean, if I'm Michael Penix Jr., I feel comfortable coming into the system with only 3 starts under my belt because I've got an established offensive line and because I've got weapons like you and these receivers and Bijan. I mean, I would think there's a comfort level for him coming into this offense even as a young guy.
Yeah, I can't speak for him in terms of his comfort level, but I definitely think, he just wants to win. And then you can see that. He just wants everybody to eat and, we all as a team want to go far. It's not about one single person. And just as an offense, we want to gel so that the defense can feed off us and special teams as well, so we can put wins together.
Okay, I know you're going through a little injury this offseason, trying to get back right, trying to get fully healthy going into this year. But what are some of the things this offseason that you wanted to do? That beat, won't you, man? You got something on you that he likes. But what's some of the things that you wanted to do to kind of fine-tune your game so that when year 5 comes around and the season rolls around, you're ready to roll?
Just everything in your game. You can never get comfortable and complacent. So just always having your feet. That's how you win. That's how you win. That's one of my strong attributes of my game is my feet and my speed and being able to push down the field. So that's something just all off season, just running, getting the feet right, and blocking as well, and doing whatever I can to serve this offense well.
You like putting them hands on them? You all right with that?
I'll strike them.
It's been a long time since this team's been in the playoffs, but you see the optimism when the fans showing up on this first day. The people are excited. In your opinion, is this a playoff team? And I'm not going to put you totally on the spot because I'll follow that up with what does this team need to do to make the playoffs?
I mean, definitely you got to start game by game. You can't reach too far or think too far. You really got to live in the moment. So it's just I think we have the opportunity to be great, and it's just up to us to string those wins together and see where it takes us.
I love to ask you about your OC. Obviously, you guys did some really good things last year, but now you got another opportunity in year 2 in the system. We all know year 1, everybody's still learning, trying to, figure out where everybody fits in that equation. But when you think about your OC and what he's about and things that you can do well, what are you excited about most when it comes to this offense?
Yeah, just year 2 in the system. Everybody's just, a little bit, I would say, more mentally comfortable in terms of knowing the scheme, knowing how, where we want to go in our direction, and just now it's time to put it all together, and everybody's bought in. So it's excited to follow behind Zach and Mike.
You set personal goals like number of catches, number of touchdowns, blocking grades, whatever it might be. Do you set those, and can you share what you have set for yourself if you do?
Write them down.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Can't share
Can I
them.
just peek at that paper now?
No, obviously different things. I want to keep growing every year in receiving and blocking and just being a great teammate.
Well, one thing I love to ask you about, obviously, people see the talent you guys have on this offense. You guys got weapons galore. You guys can go hurt people in a lot of different ways with the personnel group that you got. But when you have a guy like Drake on the outside, you saw what he can do, put up 1,200 yards last year. And then you turn around and 7 back there and putting people in the spin cycle. How cool is it when you look up and you see those guys doing what they do, and how special are those two players?
I mean, it's just like an infectious energy. Seeing Drake do that, then Bijan do that, then it's like, okay, now it's my turn. You showcase what you can do, and it's just we all feed off each other. Mooney, Ray. I mean, the list goes on for the rest of the guys from the offense. It's just great. Tyler, he'll run through your face and that get you right. So it's just like, all of us feeding off each other is pretty cool.
Well, one thing I love to know is, obviously, you guys get to go against the defense, and you get to go against the ones versus ones, and this is competitive time. Who is tough on the defense when it comes to having a guard number 8? Who give you the work? Who give you a little tough test for you?
Who do you hate going up against?
Yeah. I don't hate going against.
Okay.
Compete. So it's, everybody is the whole defense is live. I feel like everybody's scrappy. We just eager to get to this, taking it day by day and competing. So, but it's fun.
You touched on it a minute ago. A left-handed quarterback. First time you worked with one, the ball spins a different way. Falcons had another pretty famous left-handed quarterback here for a number of years too. Can you kind of go into a little more detail what's different about that, the adjustment that you have to go through to work with a left-handed quarterback for the first time? What's that like from your perspective?
Obviously, the one,
especially on deep balls.
Just the wind will pull it different ways, but it's just the time of this now. It's just getting the reps in, so that when the live bullets start going, it's second nature.
Last thing I got for you, Kyle, man, before we let you go, I know you had a long day in this first day one, but very productive for you guys. When you go through camp, what are the things that you want to make sure you get accomplished as you guys head into preseason and then take it another step as you guys get ready for the regular season? What's some of the things that you want to make sure that maybe it's you personally or as an offense you guys get done to be ready for game number 1?
Just make sure that, just each day growing our continuity with each other. After practice, when we're in the locker room, just kicking it, just playing games and growing it so that we playing for one another,
right?
And for the defense as well. So it's just like growing our relationships, having a good time, and when we compete, and when we don't, we kick the shoes off and have a good time.
Like that.
My last question for you: just how much were you chomping at the bit to get? I mean, you got the camps and things you did during the off season.
I see what you did.
Yeah. How much you chomping at the bit? Now,
I don't know if I can be involved in it. I'm gonna sit back
to get back out here and get it started.
Yeah, we get all kinds of Gators run.
I mean, especially the way the season looked so good, and then it kind of tailed off last year. Looked like a playoff team for a good half of the year or more. How much have you chomping at the bit to get back out here and start playing football again?
I mean, the whole offseason thinking about it and just preparing for September 7th against Tampa Bay. That'll be our first test, and we just want to take it week by week, and stacking wins, and like I say, see where it takes us.
Right. If you could tell the fans one thing about the season or being here, I know it's sold out the first 3 days, but how cool is it to have fans back? They didn't have them last year. Good to have them back, but also the support and the optimism that they had because they were packed out ready to see y'all today. But I know the fans are excited to see you guys. What's your message to those fans?
We love the Dirty Bird Nest. We love the people who's been coming out here supporting us. We love all of you guys. It's amazing to see it. We hope you guys keep supporting, and it's going to be a great year.
Let's go.
There's some big cheers out there today, too. We're like, whoa, man, it makes you play a little harder, doesn't it? Kyle, we appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you coming to hang out with us. Good luck, and we're looking for a great year out of number 8. All right? Ladies?
We appreciate a Gator Chomp live.
Yeah.
On 5. We love that.
They're asking for a Gator Chomp. I can't be involved in that.
He said, see me off.
Kelly, she wants you to do a Gator Chomp, bro.
There you go.
Buck, DJ, thank you. Thank you, guys. Stay safe out there. Good luck. Okay. DJ, we're not gonna see him. He's gonna be sulking on that one for a minute.
Yeah. That's okay.
So Kelly, we have, I would say, roughly 2 minutes before we got to go to a break. If you could run through your 5 players to watch very quickly, who you got?
I mean, one of them you just saw right there. Kyle Pitts, he's in a contract year. Whether that contract, the next one, is with the Falcons or with another team is to be determined. It is year 5, and he's had such an inconsistent career from his historic rookie campaign to, kind of up and down the last couple of years. You heard them talk about how he's had a number of different quarterbacks since he's been in an Atlanta Falcons uniform. I think it's a huge year, obviously, for him to see what he can do. The next one, the guy throwing him the ball, right? Michael Penix Jr. It's his second year here in Atlanta, his first real year as the starting quarterback of this team. I think it's a huge year for him to show the league, what the Falcons see in him, because they are so committed to him. They were so obsessed with him truly during that draft process that they thought, you know what, we have Kirk Cousins, but we're going to draft this guy with our first round pick. And obviously we know the drama that's come from that. Now is the time for Michael Penix to say, I am quarterback one. Here is how I'm going to do it. The next guy that I have on my list is the guy who's going to be giving him the ball, which is the center, Ryan Newsel. He's the only change among the returning starters at center. Drew Dahlman left in free agency this past year. Newsel has started 8 times, and he had a personal high 577 snaps back in 2024, but that's going to be a key guy as well. Younghoe Koo, the kicker, they brought in some guys, or a guy rather, from Germany who could perhaps challenge him for that kicking spot. He did not have a good year last year. They lost a couple games with Koo. And my final 2 guys are the guys we've talked about a bunch, Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr., the edge rushers that are going to be leaned on quite heavily to get after the quarterback. There's a couple other battles on in the defense to kind of watch, but those are 5 quick guys to kind of look at.
I love it. I know you're going to be right. You've studied this. It's been a pleasure to have you up here with me, Kelly, and to talk all things Falcons, the training camp, the season ahead for the fans. You guys, thank you so much for streaming along with us on YouTube here on Fox Local. It's been a pleasure to have you. We're going to manifest great things for our Falcons this year. For now, we're going to send you guys to a break before the news at noon.